Yeah, they say I'm confrontational. I want peace, just not at the cost of my silence. Speak up. Through the hood, I keep hearing people saying I'm supposed to die tonight. They can't destroy what they ain't built in the first place. So I'm finna ride tonight. I went from a truth seeker to truth speaker, truth through the booth, your
Bluetooth speakers. All right, let's try this again. What is up, guys? This is a late night hot mic SUNY pop-up show, right? I just finished doing a live on my Facebook where I was talking about the ridiculousness that's going on in our country. Biden has now decided, hey, we're going to hand out crack pipes to drug addicts and then slap racial equity on it. Okay? Racial equity is the title for this live tonight. I'm going to show you a ton of different things I did in a matter of like an hour. Decided that I wanted to research what racial equity was, because I don't ever remember hearing this word outside of Democrats running a campaign in 2020 campaign, 2019. It's really when I remember hearing it. Long story short, I decided I wanted to do some research behind this because I like for 1 + 1 to equal 2, right? So as I'm looking all over the internet for a definition of this word, I can't find it, but I do come across the Cambridge Dictionary where it says racial equity, noun, a situation in which people of all races are treated fairly and in the same way, right? And then I pulled some definition from a Black charity, I guess you can call it a Black nonprofit that deals with racial equity. They put up this definition. Racial equity is a process of eliminating racial disparities and improving outcomes for everyone. It is the intentional and continual practice of changing policies, practices, systems, and structures by prioritizing measurable change in the lives of people of color. All right? So we have a basis of this made up word that just, appeared 2019, 2020. We have a basis for what it means. Fair, equal treatment for Black people, and it has to show up continually. Systems have to forever be changing, blah, 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 blah. Okay? So you have a basis of what they say racial equity is. But my question is, what do Democrats think that racial equity is? What do you think they think that it is? Because Biden decided, not even Biden, his administration, the HHS, and I have it pulled up here so that you guys can see what I'm talking about. There is a reduction program, harm reduction program grant that they are going to be implementing at a federal level, okay, where they're giving out, and I'm going to pull it up for you so you can see it. So people can't say that I am not being truthful, I didn't show proof, I don't have facts. Yes, I do. Yes, I do. Here it is. Okay. This is a portion in the grant that you can read. See it up here. This is a 2022 harm reduction program grant. And this is indeed targeted and aimed towards the African American community and the LGBTQ community, minority communities, confirmed by an HHS spokesperson. Okay, a spokesperson confirms that the things that I'm going to read to you are aimed, centered, targeted, pointed at Black and gay people. Okay, now that we have that, I'm going to read some of the purchase equipment and supplies to enhance harm reduction efforts. And this racial equity word is going to come back up later. Okay. Harm reduction vending machines include stock for machines. Okay. Infectious diseases testing kits, HIV, HBV, HCV, etc. Medication lock boxes, FDA approved overdose reversal medication, safe sex kits, including prep resources, and condoms, safe smoking kits and supplies, screening for infectious diseases, HIV, sexually transmitted infections, viral hepatitis, sharp disposal and medication disposal kits, substance test kits, including test strips for fentanyl and other synthetic drugs, syringes to prevent and control the spread of infectious diseases, vaccination services, hepatitis A, hepatitis B vaccination, and wound care management supplies. Okay. You heard everything that's listed in this harm reduction program grant. It's right here. I didn't make it up. HHS says this is an effort to really start pushing racial equity because there are other underserved communities that don't have the access to clean needles or like a bunch of crack pipes. I just don't understand. Now that I went through the list of what they're offering under the guise of racial equity, okay, I'm going to pull back up the definition that is listed in Cambridge Dictionary. And dang, what was that website? Let me pull this up. See? I got all excited to do this show and totally forgot to send myself this website that I was looking at all this on. I was floored. Like, this is not real. No, it's not. This is fake. By the way, Black Enterprise, which is a well-known Black news media outlet, had this story originally posted, okay? Took it down. Hours later, 9 hours ago, News One puts out an article directly going against what Black Enterprise says. And when you try to click on the link, and I'll show you guys here as well, when you try to click on Black Enterprise's article on Biden, it won't let you click on it. It takes you to a completely different link. Let me show y'all. All right, you see that, right? I typed in Black Enterprise, Biden, crack pipes. Just a bunch of keywords. You see that, right? Click. Look what it takes me to. What? President-elect Biden taps Susan Rice to run the White House Domestic Policy Council? What does this have to do with crack pipes? Huh? I'm trying to pull the quote so you guys can see that it came from an HHS spokesperson. Come on, computer. Now my stuff wants to freeze, really. Of course, that's what happened to me. Of course. Oh my God. Okay. Can I take this down? I can't. Can you guys still hear me? If you can, I'm completely frozen over here. Sorry. I'm trying to get back on track, but it's definitely not working. I don't even know if y'all can hear me. Am I back? Okay, I'm back. My computer did something weird, but I'm back. Anyways, I was showing you guys when you go to look up the actual definition of racial equity, there is no actual definition. It just comes from people who decide to attach labels and change definition and make up fucking words to push their agendas, right? And racial equity to these people, and I have it pulled up right here. It's called raceforward.org. Okay, they came up with this definition that I showed you guys earlier. Racial equity is a process of eliminating racial disparities. Now, remember what was in that list that we were looking at in the harm reduction program grant that is definitely aimed towards Black and LGBTQ members, because according to these people in the HHS, they represent the minority and they are underserved. Okay? The process of eliminating racial disparities and improving outcomes for everyone. It is the intentional and continual practice of changing policy, practices, systems, and structures by prioritizing measurable change in the lives of people of color. Now, given what the HHS is trying to do, which is give underserved communities more access to drug paraphernalia, which is completely illegal for you and I to do, which is why people go to jail for purchasing crack pipes. That's why people go to jail for distributing coke, meth, and everything else. Nope. Under the guise of racial equity, here you go, Black people. I'm going to give you access to more drugs. I'm going to enable your bad habits. And I'm going to slap racial equity on it. Okay. And the Black community is going to stay silent and make excuses for the Biden administration. Now, when I seen this, I was like, this is not real. People are not really trying to explain this away by doing mental gymnastics. This is News One. It is a Black news network. Okay. It was also known as Centric TV at one point. The Biden administration is not giving Black people crack pipes and calling it racial equity, according to an HHS spokesperson. If you go to, let me pull it up right now. Actually, I have it on my phone. I think it's like the Washington Beacon. Sorry, y'all. Free Beacon, there it is. I'm going to pull that up too so you can see it. Denial is a hell of a drug. Okay, boom. According to these people, it has nothing to do with Black people. Nothing to do with Black people. And then I got more into the actual article because I wanted to see what they were talking about. Several media outlets latched on to a distortion of a federal harm reduction program meant to address persisting inequalities. I don't understand how we now have inequalities with drug use, but walk with me. Instead of taking a moment to do basic research on harm reduction efforts, outlets ran with the sensationalized headline of the Biden administration funding crack pipes and syringes for racial equity. Okay? Let me pull this article up because this is going to tie into what I'm talking about as far as the HHS openly saying this is targeted towards African American and gays. They say it outright. Here we go. I'm going to pull this one down. I'll pull it back up in a minute. And I'm going to pull this up. You can go look at this yourself. Washington Free Beacon. Okay? Are you ready? HHS said kits aimed to reduce the risk of infection when smoking substances with glass pipes. How you spread infection through smoking glass pipes is beyond me, which can lead to infections through cuts and sores. Applicants for the grants are prioritized if they treat a majority of underserved communities, including African American and LGBTQ plus persons. as established under President Joe Biden's executive order on advancing racial equity. How is giving Black people crack pipes, syringes, how is that racial equity? How? How can HHS, a spokesperson for HHS, Health and Human Services, openly say, yes, it is geared towards these two communities, and you have to treat a majority of underserved communities? Who else is referred to as an underserved community in the last 3 years in America? How are people this stupid? Oh no, it's not about Black people. Who is it about then? Underserved communities, racial equity? Who is that about? Like, make 1 + 1 = 2. Let me pull this article back up. Let's continue with News One, right? It is possible for some grantees could provide safe smoking kits slash supplies as a part of their harm reduction work. Like, I can't. Let me get to this part. An entire category of equipment and supplies included in these safe smoking kits. Pretty much what they're saying is crack pipes are one of 8 areas that funds could be used. So funds could be used to give more crack pipes. They can be used to give more syringes. And what do you think drug addicts are going to come in and do? Do you think they're going to be asking for condoms, testing? Do you really think they're going to be asking for that shit? We're talking about drug addicts here. You really think they're going to be asking you for safety disposal kits so that they can throw away their needles the right way? Racial equity, though. Let's keep going. This is where it got crazy. Other possible uses of grant funds include overdose prevention education, distributing FDA-approved overdose reversal medication, oh shit. I don't know what happened. I'm sorry, but I'm back. They will be required to submit a variety of metrics, including the number of people provided referrals for support services and evidence-based interventions at a community level. We can't even figure out where our tax dollars are going at a local community level. And you think these people are going to give you accurate data on over 30 million being spread for this grant? Are you serious? Are you serious, bro? This is where it gets crazy. This right here is what took me out. Okay? In a Twitter thread, Sheila PhD, we're just going to call her Sheila PhD. I'm not even about to butcher your last name, ma'am. A deputy director of research and academic engagement at the Drug Policy Alliance, explained how harm reduction works and why it is racial equity. Why it is a racial equity issue. Okay? Distributing smoking equipment is actually a health and racial equity issue, since people of color, since Black communities are disproportionately dying of these overdose and need programs to meet them where they are at to give them the tools to stay alive and safe. Smoking out of a crack pipe is going to save their life. For all the people, News One, you just put your foot in your fucking mouth, bro. You literally said, it has nothing to do with Black people. No, it doesn't. Biden did not do this for Black people. But you have a doctor here that says harm reduction works, and it is a racial equity issue because Black communities are disproportionately dying of overdoses and need programs to meet them where they are. Meth, crack, illicit drugs, they're all listed, okay? Fentanyl, listed. This guy even posted a freaking chart to show how Blacks are growing. And fentanyl, meth, Molly, everything else, bro. Like, how? I don't understand. I don't understand how anybody can make an excuse for this. I don't understand how anybody can sit here and say, well, no, this is not about race. This is just about them trying to help the crackheads and the meth heads just, get more drugs, right? So you're going to hand out all this stuff so that they have a safe way to do their drugs, which means you're going to be arresting the people who are distributing the drugs, which sounds like to me, you just want to start locking a bunch of people up. What do you think is going to happen when this stuff starts going out? You think they're just going to stop doing drugs? So now they have a safe way to do it. Crimes are still being committed. It's a crime, but let's make it safe while they're doing this crime. Let's keep the cycle going of young men and women deciding to sell drugs because it's a quick buck. You don't answer to anybody. Let's keep that going. Lock them up, but leave out the drug users who keep going to buy it. How this is racial equity is beyond me. I don't get it. I don't understand. But this, I'm about to pull up a video. This is how Democrats see Black people. I think it's blatantly obvious how Democrats view Negroes. Okay? You see Chris Rock over here smoking this crack pipe? For you to slap racial equity on here and say that we're disproportionately dying of overdoses and we need drug kits and drug testing and the condoms and everything else to help lessen the overdose, I guess is what you're trying to say. I don't understand how it's going to lessen overdoses because they get to choose what they want. They can either get a crack pipe, a drug reversal. Pretty sure they can have access to all of it. Make 1 + 1 = 2. This is racial equity in a Democrat's mind, right? Racial equity, the distribution of drug paraphernalia to underserved communities so that these communities can continue to smoke hard illicit drugs that contribute to them being an underserved community to begin with. Let's be honest. Government dollars aren't going to these rundown, poverty-stricken areas. There's no money in it for them. They're not ever going to fix these areas. They're going to keep them fucked up, which is why this is going on. More people are going to go to jail. You're going to create an entirely new, in my personal opinion, crack epidemic. Just saying. This is like the 94 crime bill on steroids. You're really just adding to it. You're adding to it. Let me read some of your comments. What is the normal purpose of a crack pipe? I don't smoke crack, bro. All I know is a crack pipe is for inhaling crack. Smoking it. Yes, lock them up. Need the abortions, take the children, destroy the community, keep the cycle going. Yes. Gonna make more overdoses, I would think. Exactly. Another way to disguise money and their sick agenda. Playing them for fools. Provide them with free rehab would be spending the money more responsible. I guess. What's up, Lopez? How you doing? Art? I guess that was the original purpose of the crack pipe. Was it art? I have no clue. I have not a clue. It's about population control. That's an interesting perspective on that. Racist equity, I agree. It's called soft bigotry and low expectation. That's the only reason why you would want a underserved community who's already dealing with drug issue to keep taking the drug. It makes a lot of sense. They're trying to kill us. Let's give minority and underserved community crack pipes, syringes, and then we'll have cops to still arrest them and throw them in jail. Exactly. Wonder what Sean Quinn thinks about this. Well, I got to talk to Mitch, which was an interesting conversation. And I asked him these very same questions that I'm about to say to you. I said, hey, what does this have to do with racial equity? Because according to, and what's the name of that group? I didn't lost my train of thought. I forgot the name of the group, guys. I think it's A Way Forward. According to A Way Forward, this is what racial equity means. The process of eliminating racial disparities and improving the outcomes for everyone. How are you improving an outcome for everyone if you're giving them easy access to illicit drugs, or more access to get drug paraphernalia that makes it easier for them to smoke illicit drugs? Make 1 + 1 = 2, right? In a situation of which all races are treated fairly and in the same way. I don't see y'all giving syringes to the natives, the Mexicans. You can't even say white people because you said underserved communities. And according to your logic, white communities are underserved. So somehow we have to make 1 + 1 = 2 here. Please let me know what you think in the comment section of all the things I presented here today. What do you think of the Democrats' definition of racial equity? Do you think Republicans will speak up and have anything to say? Do you think anything is going to come of this? You think it's going to cause some Democrat constituents to think about how they vote and why they're voting? Or do you think this is all going according to plan and we're going to see more destruction come to these already quote unquote underserved communities? Something to think about. I just wanted to come live real quick and see that. If this is your first time here and you've never watched me and you like what you heard here tonight, please hit the subscribe button. Make sure you also hit the notification bell so that you never miss another live, because every now and then I will do pop-ups like this when it comes to things that I have researched and I just need to get off my chest and my mind before I go to sleep. I like just getting my ideas out when they're fresh because they make for amazing content. But that's my TED Talk, and I'm out of here.